Hi peaches, it's Shaaba, welcome back to my channel and thank you for clicking on another video. Happy Monday, you know what that means. It is time to go fishing for some a-holes. Before we do though, big shout out to our peach. Isn't she beautiful? She's a new addition to our slowly evolving backdrop. I'm obsessed with her, I think she's everything, and that is the end of that. Every week we take a look at the subreddit AITA because it's a little bit of fun, juicy drama because we can hopefully help a couple people out. People who are from the forum, if they happen to be watching this video, people who are in similar situations to people on the forum, and we can also expand our own mindsets along the way. What's not to love? I don't think there's anything more to say at this point. I think we should just dive right in. You ready? Am I the asshole for shouting at my sister and traumatizing her? What we've learned here is that titles are a little bit misleading. Sometimes they can sound really bad and the story's fine. Sometimes they can sound so innocent and the story's like mega. But the air bunny quotes, they get me, especially for like, trauma. We'll read on. I'm a 23-year-old man. My sister's a 27-year-old woman. We have babies 2 weeks apart in age. That's so cute. I was just thinking about this yesterday, how like if I had a baby and my friends had babies and they were like similar ages and they could like grow up together and be like, do. My sister's married and is financially stable. I'm a single parent and on a very tight budget since my partner left. My sister has a key to my house since she babysits my daughter. For me, I pay her 2 days a week. My niece and my daughter use the same kind of formula, baby formula, right? But typically my sister brings her own when she's babysitting, which is no big deal. My niece had a doctor's appointment today whilst my sister was babysitting, so she dropped my daughter off to our parents for an hour until I got done with work. All sounding very fine so far. I collected my daughter, and when I got home, I went to make her a bottle, and I noticed there was only 1 tub of formula when there should have been 2. I'm hearing the fact that you've prefaced this with money problems. I'm predicting where this is going. The half-used one was still there, but the full unopened one was gone. So I rang my sister to ask what was up. She said she wouldn't have time to get her own and she'd just take it off what I owed her for babysitting. Right. Maybe it was a timing thing because you called her before she was able to speak to you, but I'm like, if you know that your sibling is in like financial issues, then really you should be telling your brother, hey, I'm taking this formula because of time, knock it off. Instead of like, it kind of feels like maybe you waited for him to notice and then ask for that to be taken off the fee. It might just be a timing thing. I might be reading too much into that. I told her she needed to bring it back because I can't afford to get any more and I could instead give her the nearly used one since the full one would do us until I could get it. She said no, she didn't have any time and it was like this back and forth for a little while. I eventually lost my cool, saying she had no idea what my situation is truly like and if she actually gave a crap about my daughter, she'd bring it back to me or find a way to get the money for a new one immediately. I won't lie, I did raise my voice a lot and I was shouting at her. She did end up crying and hung up. This got so messy so fast. It saddens me when things get this messy and I feel like it's a little bit unnecessary, but I can also understand heat at the moment. There's a couple things that I'm confused about. What I'm getting is that this isn't really about formula. It's definitely, and it's a principal issue, which is that OP is stressed about money and is like, hey, you have money. Why did you take that when you know that I'm struggling? And formula manifested into a bigger point where some anger was let out. That's obviously not okay. But at the same time, we're not perfect people. We are all allowed to be stressed. We all sometimes slip up, and I've seen siblings in particular get over a lot worse. My confusion there is over the formula and the money. So you pay your sister to babysit, and she's gone take it off the bill. For her, it seems to be a time thing. She can't run out to get more formula, which therefore means she's hesitant to also come to you because I imagine that's taking time. I'm assuming the half tub of formula that you have isn't going to like run out today, right? Because the tubs are big. And you said either bring me one or get me the money for a new one immediately. You have OP, you have the money, right? Because she's saying just don't pay me that amount for the babysitting. So can you not go out and get extra formula if it's a timing issue? You see what I'm saying? That's the bit that I'm a little bit confused about. Let's read on though. She later sent a text saying that she won't be replacing the formula, nor would she be babysitting my daughter from this point forward. No, because I should know that as a grown man, shouting at a woman would cause some serious trauma and she no longer feels safe around me. Am I the asshole? Did I go too far with my sister? Let's unpack the sister's reaction. Me sitting here now is very easy for me to be like, whoa, that was too far. I don't think it's a requirement to be like, I'm not going to babysit your kid anymore. I'm not going to give you back this thing that I took. Like, that is just not okay. But I also appreciate that, like, you, OP, were shouting because it came from an emotional place. Sister is also coming from an emotional place. Maybe you shouting at her triggered her. It is true. There is obviously power dynamics between men and women. And sometimes when you're like, but I meant no harm. Like, I would never hurt you in any way. How on earth could I make you feel unsafe? Like, it can sound ludicrous to you, but that doesn't mean that the other person's feelings are any less valid. You might be seeing you and your sister in that situation, but they might be reminded of a situation where they were really shouted at by a man. It could be something that they haven't shared with you. It could be something that they're not even fully conscious of themselves. But if someone's feeling unsafe, we need to take that seriously. At the same time, I do think that being like, oh, now I'm not going to babysit your kid is a problem. Because you're in financial difficulty, you're clearly struggling with time, and it doesn't need to go this far. It's bad communication. Do you know how many of these Am I the Asshole posts would be sorted with just better communication? Talk to each other, people! Okay, verdict. I'm gonna say everybody sucks here. Wait, no, I'm not. No, I'm just in that. I'm gonna say no arseholes here. You're in a difficult situation. You need to call your sister up. You need to say, hey, I'm sorry. You need to appreciate the fact that you have made her feel unsafe, which is something to take seriously, even if you don't necessarily see it that way. If you've caused someone to feel that way, especially understanding gender dynamics, just fix it. If you cause pain and you love somebody, why would you not want to acknowledge that at the very least? I think you need to do some self-reflecting, and then you need to tell your sister it's not actually about the formula. It's about something bigger. As you know, I'm struggling with money, and this felt a little bit unfair because you're not, and then you took something which put me in a particularly stressed position, and I feel like you don't feel that level of stress. That's what OP was really trying to communicate here. So I think OP needs to come to that realization and communicate that realization, and sister, if she is in any way a decent human being, will understand that, and you can go back to being friendly. She can give you the formula. You can go out and buy the formula. Either way, you'll have formula, and you have each other as good siblings, and your kids can still play together. Case closed. It's obviously a lot easier said than done, but I think this is a good exercise at the very least in understanding how we feel and being in tune with that, and recognizing sometimes that what we say is a just snippet of what might be going on up here. Let's see what other people have to say. Not the arsehole. Explain to her that not being fed is traumatic for an infant. Can you report this as theft? Not the arsehole. I don't know. As a woman who has a lot of trauma around men for a lot of different reasons, not the arsehole. Having trauma over a man doing something to you which is valid does not absolve you from ever being yelled at again when you do something effed up. Okay, I definitely think the forum went significantly spicier on this than me. The whole traumatic for an infant to not eat. I feel like that's one, trivializing the sister's experience, but secondly, the kid had food, right? There's half a tub. I'm pretty sure these formula tubs, I'm not a parent, but from what I can remember, seeing what my parents bought for my sisters, tubs last a while. It's not like your kid had no food. It was just about what you were going to do until the next paycheck. And that all could definitely have been resolved. I definitely think the forum was a little bit much. And I recognize, of course, that the sister should not have taken that food because of the stress it caused on OP, but I wonder if OP communicated that. Maybe the sister's not aware, which is why I've maybe just been too kind here. I don't know, Peaches. Let me know your thoughts down below. What do you think? Let's move on for now. Am I the asshole if I don't allow my family to eat my mother's cooking? That sounds dangerous. Let's read on. For context, my mum's never really cooked that much. Growing up, she might make Sunday dinner on a random meal during the week. Fast forward to now, I'm almost 30. I have my breastfeeding wife and 2 daughters, 1 month old and 2 years old. Oh, tiny squishes. They're over visiting my retired parents for the week. My mum's been excited about the special dish that she's been wanting to make all week. So yesterday evening, my mum begins making jambalaya. She claims it tastes better after it sits for a day to enjoy the following day. She makes a large pot of tomato-based stew for it with cooked sausages, bacon, vegetables, etc. And she finishes it around 9 p.m. Wow. That's a lot of cooking. I wake up today and it's been left out on the stove for over 12 hours. Oh, in a covered pot. No heat. Oh, it's currently 10 a.m. Oh no. I don't believe she plans on touching it again until she makes rice for it later today for tonight's dinner. I know for a fact, especially now after researching it, that food can't just be left out for that long, especially with meat in it. Yeah, that's not okay. There's always going to be people that go, oh, I ate food like this, or people that cook it. I cooked you food like this and you never got food poisoning and I left it out, blah, blah, blah. Sure, people have different immune systems. There is a breastfeeding wife, young kids, and most importantly, it is just not hygienic. Listeria, bacteria, grows on food. Don't leave hot food out. You tub that up. You put it in the fridge. It's beautiful the next day. You only reheat things once. There's rules, people. OP says, now I have to make things very awkward and potentially embarrassing for her by saying my breastfeeding wife, 2-year-old toddler and myself will not be risking that tonight for dinner. I know she's going to say things like, I've been feeding you your whole life and you turned out fine. There we go. I do this all the time and I've never been sick. Don't believe everything you read online, etc., etc. Would I be the asshole for confronting her on this and not letting my family eat the food? If so, how can I not be the asshole during this confrontation? We're still visiting for another few days. There is an edit here. There's also shrimp and ham in the dish, left overnight. It's now been 14 hours since last heated and left out. I love the fact that OP is sitting there like, what do? I don't want to piss anyone off, but oh my god, I can see the food. He's like looking at it at the corner of his eye like, oh. And there's also chicken in it. I didn't know that until recently. It's now been 17 hours, so I don't know. I text her about it because she's at work, expecting to make the rest when she goes home. Look, cute mum, great intentions, and what I'm guessing is your mum doesn't want to make you ill either. So if you are that concerned about it, I'm sure if you explain it properly, I don't know, I just think about this with my mum and she'd be annoyed too. But she would respect my wishes. At the end of the day, no one should be forcing you to eat things that you don't feel comfortable eating. Seafood and chicken as well, you know, it's more risk. I don't think you'd be the asshole, my love, to at least share your thoughts and be like, hey, mum, this happened. Should have put it in the fridge, babe. Next time, can you do this? Because I'm concerned for your food safety too. I don't want you to be ill. Oh, this is tricky. So here's the thing. I would probably eat it because because I'm the kind of person that's like, well, you know what? They've gone through this effort. I would say don't do it again, but I'd still eat the food. However, if I was breastfeeding, I don't know because I'm not in that position. If that kid then got the poops, I would be so sad. Oh no, this is such a brain fart moment. And I know for a fact that Jamie wouldn't. He'd be like, no, I feel so uncomfortable with this. It's different people, because I grew up with that mentality of my mum being like, it's fine, and Jamie's mum would be like, no, chuck that crap out. Okay, hang on. I don't know what I personally would do in that situation, but I don't think you would be the asshole for bringing it up with your mum. Oh no, I feel like I'm totally copped out of that one. Let's see what other people have to say. Not the asshole. Yes, stews and jambalayas taste better the next day, but they need to be refrigerated and reheated. I wouldn't touch that pot, says someone. As a woman who lives with her father, yes, this is an older person mindset. Someone left this uncooked meat out of the fridge overnight. Nothing bad will happen. Fix it anyway. And don't get him started on how asbestos is okay in small doses. Still not the asshole. That's the thing, isn't it? Like back in the day, people were like, well, we'll try. Like technology was different. Knowledge and awareness was different. And there are things that we used to do back then that we would just not do now. So it's definitely one of these like cultural experience mindset shifts. Whoa. Somebody else has said, it's not all old people. Some of us were taught proper food health and safety care. Oh, I feel like I'm being so shady to like most people who would do that, and I don't mean to be that way. Look, it's just different comfort levels for different people. And ultimately, whether you eat it or not, I think it's very important to have a level of understanding and environment with your loved ones, your closest loved ones, to be able to share how you feel and to not feel like you have to put something in your mouth, or that your family has to put things in their mouths that they don't particularly want to put in their mouths. Oh my gosh, that was tricky. Over something that's like not even that spicy, and am I the arsehole, you know? Alright, let's do one more real quick. Am I the arsehole for cancelling a trip with my boyfriend because my friend needed me? My boyfriend is 27. I am a 26-year-old woman. We've been together for 4 years in total, dated for 3, broke it off for a couple months and got back together. Since we got back together, he's been very needy and insisting that we should spend more time together, which is nice, but I sometimes feel like he's a bit pushy, honestly. He doesn't like it at all when I go out with friends or insist to come too every time. Right, what I'm getting from this, I'm kind of leaning towards boyfriend not being okay. There's like a little red flag there, especially about that lack of respect for privacy. At the same time, I don't know, the words like needy and insisting we should spend more time together, like you got back together after a breakup, of course that's gonna happen. So I don't know, I'm in two minds here. There's red flags on both sides. Why did you break up? That's my question. So the issue is that he had a work trip to Boston last week. It was really just a meeting on Saturday with some people from the company. He asked me if I wanted to come too. We could spend the weekend there as a little getaway. I said yes, and I was excited for the trip. Cute. I don't see a problem. However, my best friend, 26-year-old man, got into a car accident the Wednesday before the trip. It wasn't that bad, but he broke an arm and was generally bruised and in a bad shape emotionally. I'm glad your friend's like mostly okay, but that sucks. So I told my boyfriend that I won't be able to go to the trip since I wanted to be there for my friend. He got very angry. He told me that he's fine and doesn't really need me there. I told him that he does, and the trip really wasn't anything special. It was just a work trip. My boyfriend was upset. He said a lot of things, like saying if I just want to continue being single, I shouldn't have agreed to go back with him and such. We argued very bad that night. The next couple days he tried changing my mind, but as he couldn't, he let it go. I don't know why, but I'm honestly getting bad vibes from OP. I don't know. Let's read on. However, he's gone on the trip, and since coming back, he's acting very cold towards me and is practically ignoring me. When I ask him about the trip, he just tells me it was fine, or you would know if you come too. I'm very annoyed with him. I feel like he doesn't want to understand my side. Am I the asshole? Oh, I feel like we need more information on this one. Number 1, why did you break up? Number 2, how badly emotionally affected was the friend? And the third thing is, how soon did you guys get back together? Is this trip? Is this your first trip since? Was this some like big gesture to get back together? Especially if you're calling him needy and, you know, saying that, oh, you insisting to spend time with me is so pushy. Of course he's going to feel some kind of way. I think we need to go fishing for some more information. Let's go. Info, why did you break up? OP says, I cheated. Well, there we have it. There is your reason for the insecurity. My red flag with boyfriend has gone. Somebody else asked, was it with the friend in question? And says you're the asshole. OP says, I cheated with more than one guy. This is in the past though, and he forgave me for it. Okay, so we've got multiple cheating. Maybe he's forgiven you for it, but he's clearly not feeling like he can trust you, and you're calling him needy? This is just not adding up to me. And also, OP didn't answer the question. If you cheat with more than one guy, was it with that friend that you're wanting to stay with who broke an arm? Look, I get it, a car accident is bad. However, if your relationship is on the rocks and they have a broken arm and some bruises, it's not that big a deal that you need to stay and not go on a trip. I don't think I'm a bad person for it, but I can honestly say right now that if someone very close to me was in a car accident, obviously I'd go see them. I would make sure they're okay. But if all that happened was a broken arm, like, I don't think I would feel the need to stay home from a weekend getaway. I'd be like, I will come and see you. When I'm back, I would call you. But if I've got this big commitment, that's not something I change for that. It'd be different if they were in in the hospital, if there was things that were undiagnosed, if they were in severe pain and really needed like emotional support or physical support. But that doesn't sound like that's what the case is here. Honestly, I just feel like OP is not respecting this relationship. I feel like the wording used, the fact that you didn't go on the trip, and now that you're pissed off, it's just not adding up right for me. You are the asshole. In my opinion, that is my verdict. OP is the asshole. I think the boyfriend has every right to be annoyed and upset, especially if we don't know if this person cheated with that friend. And I do have to also recognize my bias, because honestly, if I was in a position where somebody cheated on me multiple times, I wouldn't be back in a relationship with that person. This all just sounds very messy, and honestly, you can't expect someone to just magically trust you after you've gone off and cheated with multiple people and are now like, oh yeah, I'm not going on this trip for a reason that I personally don't see is a reason to cancel a trip that clearly meant a lot to your partner. Some people are so mind-blowing, you're clearly the asshole. I'd truly not be surprised if the guy who broke his arm is who you cheated with and you're still making a surprised Pikachu face. Oh lord. This forum is brutal. But you know what? Even if it wasn't with this friend, I still see where the boyfriend's coming from. I just think that you have to prioritize in those situations, and right now, your boyfriend, who should be the person who's very high up on your priority list, his needs and that reasonable, in my opinion, requirement for security and comfort in your relationship, I feel like that's a higher priority right now than consoling a friend who has just broken an arm. There you go. Oh my goodness, I feel like I've been quite controversial this one. I don't know why. Let me know, Peaches, if you agree with any of the verdicts, or if you don't, I'd love to hear it. Just be kind downstairs in the comments section. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I'll catch you next time with another video. Be kind and have a great day. Bye.